Right, and we are good to go with the not especially new game, as mentioned, new old game, starting it from the very beginning though, which of course is also kind of, it's almost probably 10 years since have really played it too much, so should be interesting, especially as noticed that a lot has also changed with the game proper, so should be interesting also in that respect. And let's then move slowly towards the game, having announced even that we are starting out with this, most probably focusing of course on some skills that haven't tried as much at least, or see what catches fans in that respect. Otherwise should be quite good also. Lengthwise a lot like we had the long campaign to the second chapter of Neverwinter Nights, so there should be quite a while playability wise with this for sure, considering much of the old content still exists. So let's see. Alright, and we are pretty much started out, tried as much to see that it actually still works. So we were supposed to find Lieutenant Worgen, but unfortunately he's clearly gotten deceased, so, and we got 55 bronze coins and 200 experience for finding. Appears to have died from severe wounds. Alright. So then we return to the square again and observe our good Liam Greymane engaged. And then we even have two quests available. Worgen everywhere, no surprise. Alright, that's kind of unfair, like want to be Worgen and then you have to kill 6 rampaging Worgen and even get a wolf gold, which is kind of not totally elegant. Evacuate 3 civilian homes, alright. Then we most probably, at least, would call that pretty easy a fight, like we have the starting weapon and it does enough for like 15 XP, so Havoc with totally naked Worgen. And gained like 3 XP more for that. Somehow surprised, like basic sword and shield works this well in this scenario. Clearly the difficulty has been adjusted, would suspect. Of course the overall fighting in this game is kind of simplistic. Alright, and we are done with that and got magnificent three copper coins. Good amount of. And then we should also do something about the civilian homes. So let's see, like some nice paintings here apparently available. Alright, so we have to activate the doors, like please get out, and apparently panic. Fair enough, good evacuation, and here we most probably also get plenty of coin Yes. Like level 1. At least not very experienced. Neither like opponents. And here we also have left some... Oh, 7! Clearly better. This apparently is not a civilian home we can evacuate. Like attacking the chicken, which of course can't be tolerated, like then you would get no fresh eggs at all, which would be, well, disappointing. Then we need to find more house doors, like for example there. Alright, let's invite them right out to the fighting. There we go. Very good evacuation. Alright, there was also a kind of like enhanced attack available, and let's see. Here we can also evacuate civilians, so we are now done with the first two quests and can return to the marketplace to turn them in. So let's do so. Alright, and we are not certainly getting rich on these any time soon. Then we also had some quest available here. Alright, we need to find some supply crates. Good, and we can turn these two in and get some, like we can also look a bit more stylish like with the basic yellow. And then let's see, like, where do we find any supply crates. Alright, they are fortunately outlined clearly. We need to find four instances of salvaged supplies, so let's collect some. Alright, there's some hidden also behind the chicken coop. And then we need to find one supply crate more. Right, there's one. Fortunately, the rampaging Worgen are not very observant overall, like you can walk past them as long as you walk a little bit further off. And there we go with the 4 supply crates. Alright, and then we get also additional 6 slots, which is not very extreme. And then we gain some new fighting abilities. And then we need to again talk with... Right, let's fight first, like at least it's more convenient to talk if your target is not currently engaged in fighting. Alright, and then we need to move out of here. See how much attention we... Ah yeah, they are not hostile by default, no wonder. If they are yellow, it would be kind of if all of them would aggro that easily. Alright, and then we need to talk to the next guy. If we can find them. Pretty big, like if you consider that the Gilneas steed is like the about like almost twice your height, so it's quite sizable. Alright, and good to see in one piece. And then we again go to speak to Mr. Greymane. Like, would you think of like getting the run around, one might say. Right. Ah yeah, this is the like the basic starting quest. Do think I could have also chosen some other starting location, but chose this because remembered that this was the original Worgen starting quest in Gilneas City. Do think though. Faintly remember that also looked different earlier on. If remember correctly, that it actually also had different start back in the day, and or have forgotten probably some of it. Alright, and now we have to try and get Darius Crowley out of prison. Alright, so let's then, and what would Lord Godfrey? Alright, and then we again have to get rid of Worgen, which isn't like you want to start as Worgen and then you have to always rid the place of your kind, which is kind of not the most pleasant starting quest, one might say. We can also like now use the fighting abilities because we actually got some, so need to also try and remember how to actually use those, as it's been so long since actually played this much, and the abilities are actually quite important fighting wise. Alright, and one more. And done. Then we need to find our way into the prison. That would look like the way to go. And we get to climb some nice spiral stairs. And get attacked by even more. These actually auto aggro, so it's more like expected, but the beginning area clearly had been tried to be made a little easier. At least there are some like prisoners clearly nowadays less well guarded. Alright, maybe here at least we are right on top of the other symbol, yes. Alright, he wasn't very convinced. Alright, and he's upstairs. We at least passed some clearly former prisoners, so might be the case that they are up there. So let's check that out. So let's move back upstairs and see about that. Most probably the guys we passed. Right, we had some nice coin left here also. Alright, and they are also getting somewhat in trouble with the random Worgen, so let's first clean that up a bit. Shame, like. We need to get rid of the Worgen, and then we Alright, and then we have to, of course, fight even more. The quests in this game are kind of, would say, not the most sophisticated in the overall sense of things. Like someone complained, like the game is this popular and expected like excellent playing experience, and then it was mostly that you have to get rid of this number of this critter next, and then you get slightly differently colored equipment, and it's a rather good description of the overall game flow realistically. we still apparently haven't survived 2 minutes, and it mostly spawns a lot of them to keep the player busy, so alright, apparently we have now done 2 minutes, so and we get even a bit more coin by now. And then we again go back to talk with Mr. Greymane. It's amusing because most of these do have like typical Worgen names, but they simply have not found their true calling yet. Alright, and then we again return to again speak with the king. So let's go down the other spiral staircase. Yeah, it's also been like quite a few years since played this, so it by now doesn't seem very familiar anymore. It was almost 10 years ago that played extensively, so it's kind of more or less do not remember too much, and the game itself has also changed to some degree, so right, and then we again get some coin. And again turn in the quests. Alright, that's quite old when we consider how long ago that was. So yeah, that's even longer ago really. Especially yeah, you had the private server, so you had to, because it was not back then, there was no classic, which then started again doing the old timeline, as apparently most players, at least quite a few players, seemed interested in that, but it was probably even more work back then. Alright, and then we again get some improved equipment. Alright, and now he's surprised the rebels had not been like just sitting rotting away in the prison. Alright, then we can speak with someone else. Indeed, talk about getting the run around. Let's also remember to equip new items. There we go. We had like recruits tunic, so kind of like really entry level. Alright, and then we actually need to find where do we actually find the indicated one to talk to. it's kind of indicated here location wise, but it's clearly not there. At least we have the 23, like, alright. There's the cellar door you have to activate, alright. And indeed we had like some cannon in here. Alright, he doesn't look very brave, like shaking in the corner, so he's clearly not at least the most fighting type apparently. So let's talk to him then. Leave me alone. Alright. And now we got bitten by a Worgen. Alright, and we need to also utilize a K9, and then we again get different equipment. This utilizes a K9, but it's otherwise pretty much the same, so you have to... Do we now like have the use of the K9? Yes, because there's the separate ability bar displayed, so let's see. Yeah, now we have the Worgen bite mentioned here. Maybe it'll go away with time. Kind of suspect no. Now if we push this, do we like... Yeah, it finds a lurker, so otherwise we couldn't fulfill this quest unless we have the use of the K9 to detect these. There we go. Then we have... Actually that's also one, so apparently you just have to have the K9, or does it generate them if we push the attack lurker? Let's see. Apparently you can find them like through the use of the K9. Yeah, it appears, so it actually generates them kind of like as long as you are in the right area. Of course they can't ever bite you while you are fighting them. It has to happen through the encounter. And one more. And then we return to the cellar. Done with that quest, and then we are ready to turn that in. So we receive kind of like at least better weapon apparently. And now we can tell the king that the arsenal will be at his disposal. So let's walk up here and equip also the now we have a bit better than like the level 1. And apparently we also gained 4 backpack slots for having the authenticator enabled suddenly. Alright, here's Lord Godfrey, so the king should also be pretty close. Alright. Is he also now in the cellar, or times the locations are mildly confusing, like where do you find what? I would imagine he's pretty close if we have the actually the cellar only contains the weaponry, so alright, here he is. Like sometimes the map is kind of mildly misleading it seems. Alright, looks better, so let's turn that in and we receive limited amount of experience. And alright, and then we get to ride, and it's not even, it's actually performed automatically, so we need to find that was kind of, it even showed when you are supposed to push the button. It's been clearly made more clear, because do remember got lost during one of these things back in the day, like pretty buff guy, like leading alchemist, and then he's like 10 times more buff. And then he just disappeared. Like pretty much everything, because the world state doesn't change much here, it's mostly. And then we get the cutscene. Very long, complicated cutscene. And now we again have to speak again with the king. Talk about getting a run around. So now we have to move to a different part of the city again, and apparently fight a bit. Like now we have some afflicted citizens, like I was about to say, like we have Worgen housewife, but they are in general apparently afflicted citizens, and they are much more tough. This is actually already some fight. especially as we do not have that many healing related things, so it's actually a bit demanding already. Right, and even more, like 3 at once, not good. Let's see if we move up where they're, yeah, behind the footmen, and then heal here, like most logical solution. We have to let's check the map where we actually have to make our way there, so there's also the straight road to take rather than go between the houses. And as we do not really have anything that even heals, we have to wait. Amusingly, we only got better two-hand weapons, so it's like not much choice of like using the shield or not, so the shield bash ability doesn't do much either. So let's try the other way around now that we have regained health through passage of time. So would this be the other way? Yeah, totally other way around. Not quite what intended. Yeah, this way and then turn. Turn from here apparently the other way. And then we try through here and see whether we at least have to fight less because it was quite difficult going between the houses, as you actually got so many afflicted citizens attacking you. Alright, and we again speak with the king. As we always do. We are left with very few choices. What we do next will be critical decision, alright. Alright, and of course then they argue over who stays behind, and somebody then probably runs away with the non-afflicted people, hopefully. Alright, and then we again have kind of like, let's ride with, and we can throw torches apparently to draw attention, which is kind of, yeah, we have to draw attention with the torches while getting chased, which is also a common mechanic in the game, like some kind of like flying, or and then you have to do something with certain amount of things. Alright, that was quite quite the jump. And now we again can throw the torch. Still a few more. There's quite a few actually. Considering how many are following us, like one more. Alright, and done. Then we probably end up in the cathedral, yes, with a huge amount of cannon in the front. There we go. Conveniently, our good character also hasn't bothered to tell that they were beaten already, and they don't even feel so good. It's kind of amusing that they have been talking with the people for a good while, and they never actually mentioned that they were already in the cellar beaten, so it's kind of amusing, like, alright. And then we get, yeah, and then we cannon a bit, so which is also remember this was kind of amusing. Yeah, the aim was adjusted only by like moving the view, but it's pretty easy because they gather at the bottom of the stairs, so it's quite easy to get rid of a lot of them. Of course, there's also the issue that the weapon at some point runs out of durability, most probably, but it's quite easy to just by shooting up close. Yeah, done. That wasn't really like the most precision demanding gunnery. Alright, and then we also get leggings, which is of course better than wearing nothing. Alright, and then we fall back into the cathedral and inquire with the rebel chief, like, what to do next. He's of course made sure he looks impressive by going by the main high altar in the church also. Fair enough. So let's then talk to them also. And then we probably again cause some kind of havoc with the Worgen. Alright, and then we again just by hand fight by hand. With the mace, because we got a better weapon, yes, but it's not one-handed, so we can't use the shield, which is somewhat a shame, because there's especially the shield pass ability, which then kind of stays unused, as we were provided like with two hand weapons, the staff and the mace, so it's not optimal for shield use. Considering we kind of like, it's not totally in proportion that we actually use the cannon to dispatch of 80, and then we fight by hand to do 1/10 of that, so it's not totally logical. And also the bite is getting, it's now already hideous, so kind of surprising that we never told about it. The bite is also getting worse, so it's kind of then we get a cutscene, like, alright, there goes the stained glass. We have very considerable amount of Worgen when we compare to the apparent amount of fine folk in the city earlier, so it's moderately confusing, but of course rarely this kind of things hold totally statistically true. And then we get the cutscene that actually do remember like this part of the game, do think that unsure if like the initial city part was as long, or at least it had different confusing parts. Remember, there was something that required following someone from the tavern, and actually they always left very quickly, so it kind of worked questionably. So in that respect, and then we apparently fell over and got out of the stockade, and even look about 10 times better. Alright, and he's of course suspicious. Alright, let's move on again, like getting the run around. The villager isn't very talkative. But then we again wonder, do we have to move like inside something? Yes. Also the kind of graphical style of the game is kind of not very relevant today, because the original idea with the game was that it looks like Warcraft 3 practically, and most no longer are aware of the original rendition of Warcraft 3, so it's kind of not totally meaningful anymore. Right, and then he's happy that we regained consciousness, and then we have to find find the crate, especially like you can talk about professions with jack all trades. Darrington will of course profession trainer, so we can choose professions further on. And let's see, like try to find the right spot. Usually tend to get lost. Alright, that was not too difficult. Also the watchman is dead, so most probably this thing is empty. Yes, unsurprisingly. Alright, now the slain watchman provides a quest. He appears very unslain in the picture though, so it's kind of like the slain watchman is offering you a quest. So let's take quest from the slain watchman. And then we again have to inform the mayor that the town might not be doing that well moderately soon. Alright, and clearly we have had some earthquakes considering how the environment has behaved, so. And then we again speak to Prince Liam Greymane indeed. Talk about getting the run around. Let's see about the professions like. We can train mining, which is always fun, and then probably like the traditional, actually liked enough mining and blacksmithing also with the earlier characters, that most probably choosing those again. So we can actually requires level 5 at least, and we apparently it only actually costs 10 copper, so. Then we learned how to smelt copper, so. The most basic things like you can also make relic of the past, whatever those are. Set the item level to 39 and the required level to 32. Like, that must be some kind of legacy. Like you can learn recipes for. Must be some kind of like. Apparently do think that these would be kind of like additional ingredient to make the older, higher level equipment usable, because it sets the levels to the newer, because do know that they like lowered the level Ah, yeah, that's you can wear boots, but they kind of become like leg wraps with the diggy legs, so they do not look like complete boots. Paws always stay bare. They become kind of like leg wraps, more of like for the hind quarters. They do not really appear as boots per se. They become kind of like leg wraps for the hind quarters in the game. So actually, only the Worgen wears them that way. They appear different, though being the same. Indeed, did receive the fluffy form, which is much more elegant. Like the beginning looks kind of much less desirable. Yeah, and then we can learn like copper plate pants. Right, learn one recipe, and then we can also learn. We can't yet learn copper mace even, so we can learn the relics of the past, mostly learn them to get them out of the list, so that we actually have constructive information in the list. There we go. So we know the relics of the past, which clearly are for like resetting the level caps in old recipes, because they clearly didn't like modify the old crafting recipes to account for the change. And then we again wonder like where our good apparently our good lord is staying upstairs or something. Or considering there's only storage, seems upstairs wouldn't consider that quite as probable. Then we again are confused. The one we are looking for is like most probably outside, because we are not going to stand in the very corner, so let's see what was then the actual. And yes, now we do have the kind of like faster movement and the additional like melee ability. Alright, here we are. Then we kill 10 Forsaken invaders. The format of the quests in game is kind of... And then we can use gunpowder kegs to blow up abominations. Alright. And then we have to do 10 of those, so... Right, and get 3 at once, which is not nice, because we have so little HP comparatively, so let's move so that we are a bit behind the guards here, and hopefully not expire, as we still have no means of healing really. Yep, that's quite difficult, because the Forsaken do a lot of damage and we do not really have any means of healing, so we have to return. At least the graveyard is very close. It's quite easy to resurrect when the graveyard is about 1 meter away. So we should try to hopefully aggro at most one at a time, so we can actually fight them with some effectiveness. Because we don't really have any means of healing, it's kind of demanding. Have to make sure to not aggro too many at once, and or fight the ones that are already fighting also the cards, so there's some division of damage. Kind of the first fight where it actually matters, as the earlier ones were either preventable and or with such weak enemies that alright, and let's track the quests again. Alright. Still a couple to go. Easier this way certainly, as it divides the damage that they are already fighting our good prince. Alright, now we can turn this in and get like 5 items for 5 armor. And we do not have any other items that would be an improvement immediately. So let's then see about the other quest we had. So we had to use the gunpowder kegs in this. So let's see, find one of those and try to not aggro too many of these, as it's kind of an issue, as the powder kegs are in between them and there are not that many means of healing, so we can't fight too many, especially at once. So let's try the powder keg and immediately aggro 2 more, so at least we survived that. So now we have the gunpowder keg, and there's the abomination we have to throw one at. So alright, we are close enough, and also have to fight. Alright, they apparently exploded considering the trails effect, and then more. Fortunately, they have conveniently left kegs of gunpowder on the battlefield. Mighty convenient. Then we need to find more abominations to throw powder kegs at, and try to not aggro too many. There we go. And more gunpowder, please. There we go. And then we again need abomination. Alright, we get to fight the normal Alright, there we again have one. And do see another one, so we need more gunpowder. Still mighty convenient, they left kegs of gunpowder on the battlefield. There's another one, so there we go. Quite easy way to deal with them, like. Then we need. Alright, we are done, so let's walk back up here. And then we finally get like first means of healing by gaining some bread. And we also get some like wine, which is of course greatly useful. Alright. See what you can do to engage the Forsaken army at their landing location. Alright, so we again get told to go to the mayor, so let's try and enter the town, most probably not through the graveyard most easily. Maybe a bit easier through here. And then again enter the house with the mayor. And then we of course again speak with the mayor once more. And let's see what quest we get next. Alright. Remaining militia has been dispatched to the shore, and then so we need to go to the Allen Farmstead storm cellar. Taunt, like, yeah, taunt the target to attack you, so we get even more trouble. Alright, and then we can even use this ability to move faster. It just moves faster, alright. Faintly remember we could also change stance, but not sure exactly How? Then we need to find our way to the cellar. Alright. The doors are conveniently open. There we go. And then we of course talk with who we were told again to talk with, indeed getting the run around, so always go and talk with someone else. Lord Godfrey is still also alive and very much human, somewhat surprisingly considering the fight in the city. Alright, and then we again need to kill 8 Forsaken, so it's kind of very like fight this many fights. And then we need to slay the captains. To faintly again remember this quest, even remember having done it several times. Alright, and then we need to find her children. Alright. We also apparently have a scarecrow stored in the cellar, whatever use it is in the cellar. So let's track the quests. The children should be pretty close here because it's like immediately at the farmstead. Alright, and we even get patterns for like tailoring here. So should there be someone in the house? Yes. They are just standing neatly there. At least none of the others are apparently in the house. Alright, he's just standing in the yard. And then the third one. Alright, he even reappears because, of course, only the instance you told to go to the cellar next door will be there. Alright, and she's just standing in the field. Alright, and we are done with the children. So then we should fight more Forsaken. At least these fights are a bit easier because they always have an opponent, so you are not usually going to aggro like a pile of them. So let's then continue with the rest of the Forsaken and then look at the captains on the ships. There we go. And then still 3 Forsaken to be slain. And a couple more. And last one, and then we can use the catapult to reach the Forsaken ships to deal with the captains next. Alright, we dispatched with the operator. And then we need to aim at the ship. There we go. And actually it indeed launches the user. There we go. Now we need to find the captain. First we found a common sailor. Oh well, let's get rid of them. There we go. We need to get lower still in the ship to find the captain. Another sailor. and more sailors. And there we have the captain, so there's still one sailor on the way, so let's first bash at them. Bone leather gloves, do we have any? Let's see. We didn't, so even Worgen ones are better than none. And then it's time to take on the captain with the nice new gloves and everything. Clearly effective. There we go. And he was much more high net worth with 70 coin. And then we have to just jump off the ship. There we go, and then use the catapult to get onto the other ship. Again, first dispatch the operator. Let's see if this trajectory puts us... Nope, that didn't quite put us onto the ship. We can also drive the catapult apparently, so we can more easily aim at the ship. That's actually pretty funny. We can also use the catapult as a vehicle, so that should be better. Yes. That looked moderately painful. There we go. Like let's hit the side of the deck. All right. One sailor down and modified. And then we attack the other captain. They were also worth 50 copper. Can we get rid of the rat? Yes, let's clean the ship of rats. Single rat. Alright. Sailor also outside. Let's then dispatch of them. there we go. Now we can return to the town to claim all the rewards, having gotten rid of the captains and all. So let's walk up to the city again. And into the cellar HQ we go. Oh, hello there, Struggle. Great to see you. And indeed, we are playing the retail version rather than classic. And of course, you get a wave. Hello there, you Woolly. Always good to see you. And right, we have been doing about 1.5 hours. Let's at least do a couple of hours. So still some adventuring to go, trying to do a bit longer streams in more general sense also. So let's continue for some time, and we have quests to turn in, certainly. And we get some coin and apparently also level up, and got another fighting ability. And yes, we have certainly saved the children, so, and we get the slightly better gloves. The Worgen ones were of course a good start. We also have some wine, so kind of do think that let's have a couple of drinks to celebrate getting rid of the captains. Alright. Our scouts have identified the leader of the Forsaken Ground Assault. Alright. Take this visa and use it when you're close to her. Alright, let's go for that then. Still the scarecrow is stored in the cellar. And no other quests available around apparently, so let's then track and see where. Right, so there's the area we need to be in to engage the Dark Ranger. Then we use the visual and apparently attack. Fortunately there are quite a few attack mastiffs, so we can like just fight. They got ganged up and quite a bit, so and then we again return to the Return to the seller HQ. Really do not know anything about mods for World of Warcraft really, because ever played only the totally unmodded game back in the day about 10 years ago, and decided to now like start playing the game again for streaming from the beginning. And indeed actually do not even know anything about, do know that there are like mods for the UI or something, but never actually used any. So alright, and we get boots and very moderate amount of cars again, and then the screen seems to like to shake a lot, and then we can put the boots on and get different style of leg wraps as noted. Alright, let's go and see what happened outside. That was certainly surprised the cellar didn't collapse like when the screen shakes that much. Alright, the world changed shape a little. Yes, the ocean clearly swallowed everything. Cataclysm indeed. Do know this is from the Cataclysm era, so it contains the kind of Cataclysm events. Rescue for drowning watchmen. Alright. At least we found Forsaken underwater. That wasn't really what we were looking for. Fortunately, we seem to have really strong lungs for fighting underwater. Alright, here we have a drowning watchman. And we probably have to take them to the shore so they are no longer drowning. Yes. Let's track the quest. So only 4, so it's kind of humane. There's another drowning watchman. And onto the ground they go. Now we need to find more. There's a Forsaken. Alright, here we have some more drowning watchmen, but we also aggroed the Forsaken, so let's fight them off first. There we go. Now let's pick up. We already have one picked up, so they kind of stay on well also while fighting. Let's see if we can get onto the ground from here. Not really. So have to move a bit to get onto the terra firma. There we go, and one more. And now we can again peek with the Greymane. That would be nice, of course, because never tried any, so would be interesting, of course. Yeah, they changed. Do know that they changed the leveling at some point to a degree. Exactly. Alright, and we certainly get minor healing potions. Right. Tell Gwen Armstead to start the evacuation, so again getting the run around. Yeah, there's a mining node here, so let's mine it. Some mining skill. Mining skill increased to 2. And we apparently have another one somewhere here. Yep. Some mining on the way. And then let's try and climb back to town and tell Liam, or Gwen in this case, to start evacuating apparently. Of course the ocean came quite a bit closer, which usually is not such a good thing. And then we need to tell the grandma, the Hayward brothers and Lorna Crowley. So we need to make a little tour of evacuation next. Alright, so there's an app for managing the mods. Fair enough, sounds useful. Alright, let's then do the little tour of evacuation next. And drag those 3. And here's another mining node, so of course mine as you go for some nice copper. here we have the Crowley, Lorna Crowley. And then we actually have to round some horses, but there's the problem with the, we have to bring the horses back here, alright. And there should be another mining node down here. And some nice foxes. Hello there. Ate all your crops, emptied your boxes, urban foxes. Or in this case not very urban foxes. Some nice foxes in any case. And here we are. While we are it, let's visit also Grandma Wall in the Wall cottage. Right, we also found one Forsaken, so let's try and dispatch of them first. There we go. And the cottage and Grandma's lost it alright, so it seems. Leave how? Right, favorite book is missing. Right, so we have to find the linen wrapped book. It's clearly not very easy evacuating because all the evacuees have some idea of other things. So let's first, right, and then we are crowing several nice. There we go. Should also be a mining node. Yes. And then Mr. Hayward. There he is, and it's kind of like, let's swim across. Let's see if he also needs something. Yes, so everyone had more quests. And we reached level 10 also, which is good for the first session. Ah yeah, and we can, now we can, as remembered, there was some way to change the stance, so we can actually change the stance with the ability. Drop to all fours to run as fast as a wild animal. Nice. Not quite ship shape. Evacuation, you say. Yes, we say. Obtain plank of food, coal tar, and shipwright's tools. Alright. And those Forsaken ships sank way too close to our fishery. Alright, so we need to again kill some Forsaken, which is kind of not the most unusual task, like kill 8 of these. Fortunately they are at least very close. Ah, yeah, single stance in that respect. The stance that meant was the ability to run on four balls. So yeah, let's then get rid of some of the castaways. Fortunately, they are again already engaged, so it's slightly easier. Alright, 3 done. They have a bit more money even if they just experienced a shipwreck, which is interesting. They have clearly taken their money with them from the shipwreck. And one more. Then let's see about the tool items and such we have to find. They should be actually pretty close here. Yeah, there's the tar barrel, so shouldn't be that hard. Right, we have some coal tar. There are some planks of wood. Very good. Interrupted. Alright, now we got the planks of wood picked up and then can fight the Forsaken. There we go. And then we need the shipwright's tools. Can even see the toolbox from here, so shouldn't be too hard. Then we can probably get our good fisherman a little bit more ship shape. Yes. So we have the shipwright's tools, planks of wood and the coal tar, and then we get another pack. And then it seems Mr. Hayward is mostly ready, so we should proceed to do the other 2 quests, like our good grandma's missing favorite book. So let's track these 2. So let's check the map. And go and find Grandma's favorite book. Of course, important when you are about to drown due to the cataclysm. We of course have to have our favorite book, so not totally surprising that Grandma has lost the plot. And more Forsaken here. And even more. Alright, Grandma's favorite book is in the stable, and so are some more Forsakens again. So finding the book is a little bit hazardous. Can actually now see it here. This book appears to be a racy romance novel. The cover reveals pastoral scene involving a muscular blonde man and young woman wearing a tight bodice. So clearly Grandma wants to read some daring literature while evacuating. Fair enough. Alright, and visit Grandma again. Now they should be pleased. I hope you didn't peek. Where are your manners, dear? Well, and then they need better clothes. No manners. Alright, so Grandma also has to dress up. Alright, and then we should find something to wear for the Grandma. Wherever her clothes line was, so let's try to do everything for our good Grandma Val. There we go, and then alright, and there's a Forsaken also. Hopefully they didn't hear Grandma's favorite dress, like have to have a good book and have to dress up to evacuate. Reminds this one of like on the Titanic, the fancier people would put on fancier items of clothing to not evacuate, like go and sit in the saloon. Grandma's good clothes, yeah, good idea to put them on for the evacuation. Alright, and Grandma's cat is also missing. Of course you can't evacuate without the cat. Alright, so let's go and find Grandma's cat. Really easy Grandma to evacuate. So Grandma's cat, you say. Alright, and then we got some kind of like special. Fortunately it seems our good Grandma was helpful. Grandma was also Worgen. And Grandma's cat. There's Grandma's cat. The problem is that we also need the cat. Having already killed. Alright, you can get. Now we have 2 cats. We can actually only. So the cat came from the corpse. Very logical. Like. Oh well, fortunately the grandma also helps for once, like protecting their cat. And here we again have the grandma. A little shaken but in good shape, all things considered. Cat. There you go. And then we get Granny's mallet, which is like considerably better. And it's one hand, which also is considerably better, because we can now actually use the shield. And now Grandma is ready to evacuate. Now we can also use the shield, which is nice as it allows shield bash, and the mallet of course looks quite stylish. Would you like to fight with the sledgehammer? And then we only have the need to save horses for the final evacuation. Yeah, because it's practically when you touch the cat he respawns, and didn't at first realize that you actually get the cat from the corpse. So click the cat again, and then when you touch the cat, then the Forsaken spawns again, and that was the reason. So it's not really bugged, it's just kind of not very logical, because you actually have to take the cat from the corpse instead of touching the cat on the rock. So it's kind of like illogical rather than bugged. So it's once realized, it's not really buggy. It's kind of more of simply not totally logical in that respect. Right, and then we shall go and rescue some horses to finish for today. Once we have like all the citizens ready to evacuate, do think it's good time to call it a day for today. So let's go and try to not get attacked by the hungry Etin. So we would need to find some horses, and we of course have some nice foxes. So we found the stable grounds, and we also found a nice pitchfork. We need horses. There's also the fox and the squirrel. Right, there's a horse. At first thought like, is that a fox? But no, for once not. Right, and we do think we need to take the horses in the other direction. Let's check the map. There we actually take them to rescue them. Alright, that's a mining node, not it was intending. To remember, we needed to take them like to the orchard or thereabouts. Yes, but alright. And that was not accepted, so wherever we needed to take them, kind of like it's not totally clear. So let's find some more. And try to beware of the Etin. Or not. Let's see how far the Etin is willing to follow. Not very far. Alright, they passed, and then let's try again. Mildly confused still. Like, let's take the horse over the bridge, maybe that would be successful. Alright. So also across the other bridge to the outside owner. Let's try for more. There goes the Etin, so we take another steed. Good. Now that we know the correct method. Alright, there was indeed some discussion on the quest model. Yes, it's not instanced to single person for the most part, unlike, for example, do remember that there was the, for example, the original guild was alright, and then we again get the Etin. Let's try to ride away from them anyway. Alright, and get a little bit lost. Alright, that at least we got away from them with the horse, so fair enough. Still have to get a few. Unlike the original Guild Wars, for example, did instance. Alright, so we have to get the horses slightly higher. Fortunately, there are some spawned also up here, so should be easier. Just go to the orchard main. Alright, and a couple remaining. Foxes. And one more. And again we wait up the Etin a little. And let's see, we can now probably do the final one. If we can again find the orchard main building. Alright, there we go. Even use the bridge and we are done. And we even get a belt, which is a bit better than the soldier's waistband. So now we again go to see the mayor, talk about getting the run around, and let's use the new belt. We can soon sell a bit of items. Let's track that and make the final run back, and then finish for today. Some mining along the way. Mining skill increased to 7, going big, one might say. Yeah, people tended to, of course before that it was EverQuest that people were not heard about anymore. Yeah, they're still running wild, but you can use the mounts, and both are of course nice. Yeah, exactly, it's the same speed, of course it's stylish, so. What was it requires? Apprentice riding skill, so you actually can't use running wild without apprentice riding skill, so logical. It practically does the same effect, so that's actually very logical. It's practically the same, but it's racial, so you actually need, although you would like run, you need the apprentice riding skill nowadays to run on all fours, kind of Fair enough. Alright, and now we actually get a free ride. Kind of like one of the more amusing things again, automatic ride. With a swift mountain horse, probably one of the ones we took back from the Hungry Etin. So we just get to ride automatically. But yeah, the game that people would like disappear for a couple of years, which before this was like EverQuest 1 or 2 pretty often. Alright, here we are, and this is where we drop off for today, as we have been playing for over 2 hours and need to get up a bit early. Yeah, it's kind of like need to get the riding skill to run on all fours. Oh well, that will be something for the next stream. So we have been doing over 2 hours easily and need to wake up moderately early tomorrow. So we will be gradually finishing here. Thank you for joining for beginning of World of Warcraft with the Worgen, and this game will also be regularly played. Will probably be renewing the schedule a bit after Eurofluence. So, and tomorrow we will be doing XCOM, as you all voted for XCOM Unsure Why, like wanting to see this one to be nervous over that our good rookie brings the house down with the grenade launcher while panicking, and then Russia pulls funding and you are even worse off. So in that respect, unsure why you all voted for XCOM, but XCOM you get, because XCOM of course is a little bit painful, one might say humorously. But indeed, thank you all for joining for World of Warcraft, and let's see who we can raid. Very nice. Over 2 hours starting out, so certainly pleased to also get back a bit to the World of Warcraft in that respect, because I haven't been playing for like a decade. So alright, Yuna is playing Beat Saber, and most probably Johnny K9 is also playing Beat Saber. Do not think we have ever actually raided Johnny, so let's see whether they are still playing. Then we get AD. And wait to see that they are actually still playing. Yes, so let's go for them tonight. Ah, great, thank you, Stra. Will be useful, of course. So thank you once again, and let's raid Johnny for some Beat Saber. This one wish you a good night, and tomorrow we play original XCOM Enemy Unknown, if get it working on DOSBox and give image out, so will be interesting. Thank you once again for joining, and tomorrow we do XCOM. Indeed, original original XCOM Enemy Unknown first. As you voted to have XCOM games, then you have XCOM games, and we start with the original, playing each of those as far as can get, and then moving through the publication order, so it will get even worse with Terror from the Deep next, so there will be XCOM games. Alright, and let's go for some Beat Saber, and thank you once again, and good night. See you tomorrow.